Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of What Sam Said. The title of today's message is You Better Be Like Jesus and You Better Walk. The book of Luke, chapter 13, verses 31, 32, and 33 tells us the same day there came certain of the Pharisees, saying unto him, being Jesus, Get thee out and depart hence, for Herod will kill you. And he said unto them, Go ye and tell that fox, Behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I shall be perfected. Nevertheless, I must walk today and tomorrow and the next day, for it cannot be that a prophet perishes out of Jerusalem. Think back for a moment. Have you ever noticed that there are some people and circumstances that can get you to respond out of character, that they come on the same day, the day when you may be in the midst of something at work or at home and you're dealing with a lot. It's on that day that they may be able to try to get you. See, you were fine until they walked into the room. You immediately went from 0 to 100 and all the thoughts and prior encounters start to surface in your mind. You can be at the highest of highs, but it's just that particular person that may be able to get you to act out of character. It can be friends, it can be family, it can be co-workers, and sometimes it can be your own children. As Jesus shared with us, there will be times when you just need to walk off. I recently read a social media post that said, if it costs you your peace, then it has cost you too much. Maybe they caught you on what many of us have referred to was the wrong day. Had they said that particular comment on yesterday, you might have ignored them, but you responded differently because they caught you on the 29th of the month. You just received a text that your balance is low and you don't see your money pending in your checking account. Your dashboard of your car was flashing this morning, reserve fuel. So you already feeling some kind of way that they ain't paid you back the money from the last time they borrowed. And then they're going to go ask you on the 29th or the 30th of the month, hey, let me hold $20 to pay that. And then you turn around and in your mind, I told you the last time I lent you money, I wasn't going to lend you no more. And then they say, come on, let me hold it. I promise you on my daddy's grave, I'm going to pay you back. You're like, man, you ain't know your daddy. Or they show up at work as the finalists for the next top model for edge control and got a bag and a half, a hair in their head, their eyes, buzzing, trying to hold their head up from the weight of it. The eyebrows longer than your fingers. And they tell me, I need another month, to pay you back because I had some unexpected expenses. I'm like, yeah, I see him. I see you had a few. Or you agree, okay, let's have a conversation. It then turns to be a confrontation. You better walk. You better walk. Jesus, based on his knowledge of the word of God, said, I must, of a necessity, walk today and tomorrow and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet perishes out of Jerusalem. In other words, I ain't going to lose my job up in here messing around with you. I'm just going to walk off. My grandmother said years ago, people will use you as long as you allow them. They will use your money for what they need and their money for what they want. Then you notice they're going to be mad at you the next time they ask you for something when you say, nah, man, I ain't got it. I got to walk. There will be times when how you respond can determine the next step in your career or relationship. Or it could be the hindrance that holds you back from what destiny has in store for you. What Sam said, walk off, as opposed to giving someone a piece of your mind. Walk off. Don't allow people to have you reaching in your back pocket, pulling out your old man. Wait a minute, how did you get it so quick? It must have been there all along. Walk off from writing or sending that text or email. Before you hit send, just kind of walk around and gather your thoughts and determine if this is something I really need to do. Otherwise, you're going to be turning to Flip Wilson. The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. No, walk off. It's always wise to pause, self-reflect, and respond when emotions are not in the way. Well, I said it, but I didn't mean it. No, I think you said it. You just didn't mean for me to hear it. As I've been told, silence may be misunderstood, but it can never be misquoted. Walk off. You have to believe as a believer that he who has begun a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Walk off when they talk about your dreams and your goals. See, when you really have a mission, it does not need an announcement. So stop trying to convince everybody what God gonna do. Sometimes we reveal things to people before it's time and then get mad when they spread it. Everybody can't handle your dream or your potential, your elevation. So stop trying to get them to agree with you when they're not for you. Walk. People will have you worrying about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with stuff. Walk. When you realize that people's opinions and their thoughts ain't gonna pay your bills, you gotta walk. When you realize that you can learn from a fool, even if it's what not to do, walk. I remember someone telling my grandmother, well, you ain't gonna help me? I hope you know that Jesus sits high. She straightened out that wig and said, yeah, and he looks low too. What I am not gonna do is allow you to get me under condemnation because you can't use me. I heard someone say, it doesn't matter how many people don't like you, as long as he who likes you, that's the point that matters. In closing, you've come this far by faith. Don't allow people and their actions to cause you to detour from the path that God has already charted for you. Folks don't know the seeds you have in the ground. They don't know the ravens when they've had to come and sustain you. So when challenging situations present themselves, hold your peace. For today and tomorrow and the next day, be like Jesus. You better walk. Thank you for joining me for this episode of What Sam Said. I look forward to our next encounter.